Hello Zenith women, and welcome to the channel. The world you see is a reflection of the lens you choose to wear. What happens when someone refuses to wear the same lens as everyone else? Enter the Sigma personality, a quiet enigma in a world obsessed with noise. While most are scrambling to fit into hierarchies or chasing validation like a cat chasing a laser pointer, Sigmas stand apart, silently rewriting the rules of how the world should be seen. Here's a fact to chew on. Less than 1% of people can be categorized as true Sigmas, making them rarer than a Wi-Fi connection that doesn't suddenly drop during a Zoom meeting. These individuals don't just think outside the box, they question why the box exists in the first place. In this exploration, we're peeling back the layers of the Sigma mind. Why do they see the world so differently? What drives their uncanny ability to observe, adapt, and thrive on their own terms? And most importantly, what can the rest of us learn from them? Buckle up, because this is not your average personality deep dive. This is a journey into the untamed, unfiltered, and unapologetically unique Sigma worldview. Number 1. Relational autonomy. Sigmas are masters of relational autonomy, a concept that sets them apart in a profound way. While most people either cling to relationships for security or keep their distance out of fear, Sigmas find a unique balance that allows them to value connections without losing their sense of independence. They don't see relationships as something to define their worth or fill a void. Instead, they approach them with intention and clarity, understanding that true connection doesn't require sacrifice of self. This autonomy makes their relationships remarkably genuine. Sigmas aren't in it for appearances or social benefits. They're there because they truly value the person. They don't need to be the center of attention or constantly validated, which removes a lot of the typical drama from their interactions. People often find this refreshing, though it can be intimidating too. After all, how do you control or influence someone who doesn't need you? Because Sigmas prioritize quality over quantity, they naturally develop deeper, more meaningful bonds. They are discerning about who they let into their lives, not out of arrogance, but because they respect their own energy. This careful curation allows them to maintain relationships that are built on mutual respect and authenticity. The secret lies in their self-sufficiency. Sigmas don't enter relationships looking to be completed, they're already whole. This makes them fiercely independent, yet paradoxically capable of profound intimacy. They aren't afraid to walk away from toxic dynamics or superficial connections, which only amplifies their allure. In a world where many are either overly dependent or excessively detached, Sigmas exist in a rare middle ground. They've mastered the art of being connected but not constrained, creating a blueprint for relationships that's as liberating as it is impactful. Number 2. Curated identity. Sigmas are like architects of their own identity, deliberately constructing who they are instead of passively inheriting it from the world around them. While most people unconsciously absorb cultural norms, traditions, and societal expectations, Sigmas take a step back and question everything. Why should they believe what others believe? Why should they follow rules that don't make sense to them? To a Sigma, the default settings of society are just suggestions, ones they're free to accept, modify, or reject entirely. This conscious curation leads to a personal code of conduct that is strikingly self-defined. Sigmas are not swayed by trends, groupthink, or the need for approval. They strip away the layers of societal conditioning to uncover what truly resonates with them, and then they build their identity around it. This doesn't mean they're rebellious for the sake of rebellion. They're simply uninterested in living by anyone else's script. Their curated identity often makes them stand out, even when they're not trying to. There's a quiet confidence in someone who knows exactly who they are and what they stand for. Sigmas aren't looking for external validation to reinforce their choices. They trust their own judgment. This authenticity is magnetic to others, though it can also be misunderstood. People accustomed to conformity might see Sigmas as aloof or even defiant, but that's because Sigmas aren't performing for anyone's approval. By taking ownership of their beliefs, behaviors, and values, Sigmas achieve a level of freedom that few others experience. They don't feel trapped by societal expectations or defined by external labels. Instead, they operate on their own terms, living a life that is unapologetically aligned with their true selves. This self-determined path not only sets them apart, but also allows them to live with a clarity and purpose that is uniquely their own. Number 3. Subtle leadership. Sigmas redefine what it means to lead. Unlike traditional leaders who rely on titles, commands, or dominance to assert their authority, Sigmas lead with subtlety. Their approach is rooted in influence rather than control, proving that true leadership doesn't need to shout. It can whisper and still command attention. Their leadership style is anchored in action and results. Sigmas understand that people follow those who inspire confidence through competence. Instead of giving orders or demanding loyalty, they lead by example. Their calm, composed demeanor and ability to consistently deliver results naturally earn the respect and trust of others. People are drawn to them not because they're loud or boastful, but because their presence radiates quiet confidence and capability. Sigmas are also masters of adaptability. They don't impose their will on others, but instead adjust their approach based on the dynamics of the group or situation. This makes their leadership feel organic rather than forced, creating an environment where others willingly align with their vision. They avoid the need for micromanagement, trusting those around them to rise to the occasion, which often empowers people to perform at their best. This understated style of leadership is particularly effective because it bypasses the ego battles and power struggles often seen in traditional hierarchies. Sigmas don't need a pedestal or a badge of authority to lead. They earn influence by being authentic, insightful, and reliable. Their ability to remain detached from the need for recognition further enhances their effectiveness. In a world that often equates leadership with dominance, Sigmas prove that subtlety can be just as powerful, if not more so. By prioritizing actions over words and presence over position, they embody a form of leadership that inspires loyalty and respect in the most genuine way possible. Number 4. Deep understanding of power dynamics. Sigmas possess an uncanny ability to grasp the intricate workings of power and influence. They see the invisible threads that connect people, systems, and decisions, allowing them to decode dynamics that others might miss. This understanding isn't something they flaunt. It's an internal tool, honed through observation and intuition. While others may get swept up in overt displays of dominance or submissiveness, Sigmas remain grounded, observing how power flows and shifts in any given situation. What sets them apart is their lack of interest in playing power games for the sake of ego or control. Sigmas see power as a means to an end, not an end in itself. They don't chase status or validation through titles, authority, or dominance, which makes them immune to the pitfalls of vanity that often entangle traditional power players. They recognize that true influence doesn't always come from the loudest voice in the room, but from the one who understands when to speak, when to act, and when to remain silent. However, this doesn't mean Sigmas are passive. When necessary, they can step into the game with precision and strategy, leveraging their deep understanding to achieve their goals without excessive force or unnecessary conflict. They prefer efficiency over theatrics, relying on subtle yet effective maneuvers that often leave others wondering how they manage to achieve so much with so little noise. This detached approach to power dynamics makes Sigmas both unpredictable and highly effective. They can't be easily manipulated or drawn into power struggles because they're not emotionally invested in winning. Instead, they focus on outcomes, using their insights to navigate complex situations with calm, calculated precision. In a world obsessed with control, Sigmas demonstrate that true power lies in understanding it and knowing when to use it sparingly. Number 5. Minimalist Ambition. Sigmas approach ambition with a clarity and simplicity that sets them apart. While many people equate success with piling on more goals, more accolades, more obligations, Sigmas take the opposite route. They strip away everything that doesn't truly matter, focusing only on what aligns with their core values and ultimate vision. For them, success isn't about how much they can achieve, but about achieving what genuinely counts. This minimalist approach allows Sigmas to cut through distractions and avoid the societal clutter that often derails others. They don't feel the need to chase status symbols or follow predefined paths to success. The latest trends, peer pressure, and external expectations hold little sway over them. Instead, they operate with laser-focused intent, pursuing goals that resonate deeply with their personal mission. Sigmas are also ruthless when it comes to eliminating inefficiencies. They're not interested in multitasking for the sake of appearing busy or overcommitting to projects that don't serve their larger purpose. Every move they make is calculated to bring them closer to their ambitions, without wasting energy on unnecessary detours. This streamlined approach often confuses those who equate ambition with overextension. Sigmas don't measure their progress by how overwhelmed they feel or how many things they've crammed into their schedule. Instead, they measure it by how effectively they've moved toward their goal. Their ability to ignore the noise and focus on what truly matters often leads to remarkable results, achieved with a fraction of the stress others endure. In a world that glorifies excess and busyness, Sigmas prove that ambition doesn't have to be loud or complicated to be powerful. Their minimalist mindset is a quiet rebellion against the chaos, demonstrating that success is best achieved with focus, intention, and a clear sense of purpose. Number 6. Complex moral compass. Sigmas navigate the world guided by a moral compass that is as intricate as it is resolute. Unlike many who adopt societal norms as their ethical framework, Sigmas build their own code of conduct, shaped by introspection, experience, and an unrelenting commitment to authenticity. Their values aren't borrowed. They're forged through questioning, trial, and an uncompromising demand for personal integrity. This individualized moral code often puts them at odds with societal expectations. Sigmas don't blindly follow what's considered right by popular standards. Instead, they scrutinize those standards to determine if they align with their own principles. If they don't, Sigmas are perfectly content to stand alone, even if it means being misunderstood or criticized. To them, doing what's right according to their own ethical framework is far more important than fitting in or gaining approval. Their moral compass is complex because it resists simplification. Sigmas understand that life exists in shades of gray rather than black and white, and they're willing to grapple with difficult questions that others might avoid. They don't see morality as a rigid set of rules, but as a dynamic system that requires constant reflection and recalibration. This allows them to act with a rare level of conviction, even in morally ambiguous situations. What makes Sigmas particularly unique is their unwavering commitment to this personal code. They don't bend their ethics for convenience, social pressure, or short-term gain. This consistency earns them respect from those who value authenticity, though it may alienate those who prefer compliance. In a world that often rewards conformity and penalizes those who challenge the norm, Sigmas remain steadfast in living by their own rules. Their ethical complexity isn't just a quirk of personality. It's a deliberate, courageous choice to live a life of integrity, even when it's inconvenient or unpopular. Number 7. Self-sufficient visionaries. Sigmas are the embodiment of self-sufficiency, particularly when it comes to turning their ideas into reality. While many people rely on external motivation or a network of supporters to fuel their ambitions, Sigmas operate differently. Their vision is internally driven, and their resolve to bring it to life doesn't depend on applause, validation, or even assistance from others. This independence stems from their deep belief in their own capabilities. Sigmas trust their judgment and have the patience and discipline to see their plans through, even if it means taking an uncharted path. They don't wait for permission or look for approval before starting. They simply act. If obstacles arise, they adapt and keep moving, rarely pausing to dwell on setbacks or seek reassurance. Their ability to walk alone is not born out of arrogance, but a clear understanding that collaboration, while sometimes beneficial, isn't always necessary. Sigmas are willing to work with others when it aligns with their vision, but they never rely on others to define or execute it. They prefer autonomy over dependency, knowing that being self-sufficient gives them the freedom to create without compromise. This solitary strength can be both intimidating and inspiring to those around them. While others might marvel at how a Sigma achieves so much without the usual scaffolding of teams, mentors, or cheerleaders, the Sigma sees it simply as the natural way to operate. For them, it's not about proving a point. It's about staying true to their path, even if they're the only one on it. By walking alone, Sigmas demonstrate a rare kind of resilience and focus that sets them apart. They show that vision doesn't need an audience to be valid, and success doesn't require a crowd. It only needs a clear mind, a determined heart, and the courage to act. Number 8. The outsider's perspective. Sigmas thrive as outsiders not because they're forced to the fringes, but because they choose to stand there. By consciously removing themselves from societal hierarchies, they gain a unique vantage point that few can access. This detachment offers them an unfiltered view of how systems truly operate, how power flows, how influence shifts, and how people's roles interact within a structure. Their ability to see the big picture is unmatched. Without the emotional entanglements that come with striving for status or recognition, Sigmas can analyze dynamics with clarity and objectivity. They observe without bias, noticing patterns, power plays, and unspoken rules that often go unnoticed by those caught up in the system. While others are distracted by the need to climb the ladder or protect their position, Sigmas are busy understanding how the ladder was built in the first place. This perspective allows them to navigate politics and systems with precision. They're not easily swayed by flattery, competition, or social games because they're not emotionally invested in the outcomes others obsess over. To a Sigma, the politics of any system, whether corporate, social, or familial, are just tools to be understood and, when necessary, leveraged. What's fascinating is that Sigmas don't use their outsider status to reject society outright. They aren't rebels without a cause. Instead, they use their understanding to move fluidly between different structures, engaging when it benefits them and stepping away when it doesn't. This flexibility makes them unpredictable yet effective, capable of thriving both within and beyond the systems they analyze. By choosing to remain on the outside, Sigmas gain a rare clarity that comes from not being beholden to societal expectations. Their detached, yet insightful perspective gives them an edge in navigating a world where most people are too entrenched to see the bigger picture. Number 9. Natural skepticism. Sigmas possess a natural skepticism that runs deep within their intellectual DNA. It's not born out of cynicism or distrust of others, but rather a fundamental need to verify the truth for themselves. They don't accept things at face value, nor do they take anyone's word as gospel. To a Sigma, information is a tool to be analyzed, dissected, and scrutinized, never just passively consumed. This inquisitive mindset isn't about challenging for the sake of challenging. It's about seeking clarity and understanding in a world often filled with noise and deception. What's unique about a Sigma's skepticism is that it keeps them intellectually agile. They're constantly reevaluating their assumptions, adapting to new evidence, and questioning their own beliefs when presented with new information. This constant intellectual fluidity makes them exceptionally quick thinkers, able to pivot and adjust their views without being locked into rigid ideologies. This skepticism also acts as a shield, guarding them against manipulation. While most people are susceptible to the persuasive power of emotion, social pressures, or surface-level charisma, Sigmas are immune to such distractions. They see through the facade and remain unaffected by the usual tactics of persuasion. Whether it's a sales pitch, a political agenda, or a social trend, Sigmas don't get swept away by the tide. Instead, they stand firm in their ability to think critically and make decisions based on their own assessments, not on the opinions or pressures of others. This ability to question, verify, and think independently sets Sigmas apart from the crowd. In a world full of superficial certainty and herd mentality, they remain grounded in their own intellectual integrity, unafraid to challenge anything that doesn't pass the test of their rigorous scrutiny. Number 10. Unshackled creativity. Sigmas possess a unique, unshackled creativity that thrives in an environment free from the constraints of expectation or approval. Unlike others who may feel pressured to conform to societal standards or to create in ways that garner validation, Sigmas are liberated from the need to please or impress. This freedom allows them to explore ideas without limits, tapping into their most authentic and innovative selves. Because they aren't beholden to trends or seeking external recognition, Sigmas allow their imagination to flow without fear of judgment. Their creativity isn't shaped by what others expect of them, but by their own vision and curiosity. This results in ideas that are often unconventional, forward-thinking, and genuinely original. While others may follow formulas or attempt to fit into established molds, Sigmas are more likely to break those molds entirely, creating something new and groundbreaking in the process. What makes Sigmas' creativity particularly striking is that it's not born out of a need to be seen as creative. There's no self-consciousness or performance attached to their work. They create because it's in their nature, not because they want to impress anyone. This lack of external pressure allows them to take risks and experiment without worrying about failure or rejection. Their ability to think outside the box or entirely discard the box altogether often leads to discoveries and innovations that others might dismiss as too radical or impractical. But for Sigmas, the joy is in the process of creation itself, unburdened by the constraints that limit most people's thinking. This unshackled creativity is their greatest asset, allowing them to continuously push boundaries and redefine what's possible, all while remaining true to their inner vision. Sigmas are a rare breed in a world that often prioritizes conformity, approval, and external validation. Their ability to see through the noise, remain true to their own values, and pursue their goals with unwavering conviction sets them apart in ways that are as profound as they are powerful. By embracing independence over dependency, authenticity over approval, and purpose over popularity, Sigmas demonstrate a level of self-awareness and determination that is almost impossible to replicate. Their creativity flourishes unshackled by the need to impress, and their leadership impacts through quiet action, not grand gestures. Their skepticism protects them from manipulation, while their complex moral compass keeps them rooted in a deeply personal code that isn't swayed by the winds of societal pressure. In the end, Sigmas prove that success isn't defined by the approval of others, but by the courage to walk your own path, regardless of who's watching. In a world constantly seeking the next trend, the loudest voice, or the quickest route to success, Sigmas carve out their own extraordinary journey, one that is unapologetically theirs. They remind us that true power lies not in conforming to the system, but in understanding it, using it to fuel a vision that transcends the ordinary. In their quiet confidence and relentless pursuit of purpose, Sigmas are not just navigating the world, they're reshaping it, and perhaps in doing so, they show the rest of us that living authentically with intention and integrity is the most revolutionary thing we can do. If you've found value in this exploration of the Sigma mindset and the unique way they see the world, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss another deep dive into topics that challenge the norm and ignite curiosity. Like this video if you felt inspired, and don't forget to share it with those who might appreciate a fresh perspective. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let's continue the conversation. Your insights are always welcome. Wishing you a Merry Christmas filled with warmth, joy, and meaningful moments, and a new year brimming with opportunities for growth and adventure. Here's to living authentically and embracing the journey ahead. Thanks for being part of this community.